What do I do to make sure it's not?
How we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I thank you so much. I hope you
I'm
have
good.
a
I'm good.
wonderful day, and we'll see you on Wednesday, July 31st, arriving at 10:30.
First things first.
Mhm.
I thank you for coming up here.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm doing Tales of Motherhood. Tales of
Oh,
Motherhood. First things first. We're going to introduce who we got today. Let's go ahead and do it right. Miss Kiniel. Miss Kiniel,
mm-hmm.
Miss Kiniel, Miss Kiniel. I thank you for being here.
Nice.
First things first, we're talking about, Tales of Motherhood. So, I just gotta ask, how have you been?
Mentally exhausted. Physically exhausted, but I'm good. You know. Yeah.
Okay, okay. You said mentally exhausted.
Yes.
Be yeah, be, being a mom is mentally exhausting, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask, let's start. Let's start from the beginning.
Well,
Okay.
go get her. Go get her. Go get her. Go get her, mama.
Let's start from the beginning. Where what was your
Said hell no.
what was your honest feelings when you first found out you were going to become a mom?
When I found out I was 21, and I was just like, first I was shocked, because I'm just like, whoa, just I found out when I was literally 3 months pregnant. So I was like, oh my God, like I'm out here just being wild and carefree, and I'm 3 months pregnant. Didn't even know. I found out at Walmart in their bathroom
Light on.
taking the test. That's how I found out. So, after the initial shock of everything, it went into like, okay, I was working two jobs. I end up getting fired from one and quitting the other because one, I got fired from that job because it was through a temp service and they don't want you to miss no days. But I had to miss days because now I got to schedule appointments and I have to, get my Medicaid and I got to do all of this, maternal stuff that you got to take care of. So they let me go because of that, which I didn't care anyway. I hated that job. And then the other job, I was just like, I don't care about this job neither. So I was just still young and dumb and happy to be having a little baby.
Okay, okay. So the introduction, for introduction of motherhood, of course.
Hmm.
Uh, I gotta ask you, how, as a young mother, because you said you were how old again? 21.
21, yeah.
How, as a young mother, did you establish, a support system? Like, was it just I'm gonna take what people are giving me? Is it, I'm only gonna seek support and where I feel like I'm lacking? Like, how exactly were you able to establish your support system at a young age?
Well, thank God for family. That's what the best I can say. My mom, she was not like an overbearing mother that tried to immediately take over and things like that. So when I needed help, I would ask my mama. And then I ended up moving to Moore County when my daughter was like 2 months old. So I moved from Winston to Moore County and been here ever since. So living here in Moore County, I moved in with my grandmother, and she became, the biggest supporter of me financially. You know, just providing a roof over our heads and things like that. Because when I moved down here, of course, I wasn't working. It took me 6 months to find a job. Um, so if it wasn't for my family, I definitely would have struggled to make it, and I don't think I would have really made it if I could say that.
Okay, okay. I don't, that's definitely a carryover to make things smoother because
Hmm.
the whole point of this project that that I'm so glad and honored that you are here to shed some light on for me is to establish that there are different roads in motherhood. And although I'm not a mother, that does not mean that I too cannot learn from these different roads as well. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And as far as a stability concept goes, uh, you said you moved back. So you moving back was motivated by your child, correct? Say
No, it was it. Well, that's a yes and a no. So
explain.
in Winston, I knew that I personally could not have left her with her father and trusted that she would have been in good hands, nor anyone in his family. And that says a lot right there about my decision making when I was young. Um, so with my mom still being a full-time worker, she wasn't gonna take but so much time off of work to help me, get on my feet and things like that, because she can't miss paying her bills, because now I'm trying to, get back out there into the workforce and I have nobody to watch my child. So my granny, she was just like, hey, if you come down here, I'll keep your child while, you go to school or you start working or whatever. So I was like, it don't get no better than that. Who else could I trust more than my granny?
And daycare is expensive.
Exactly. Exactly. So she was, the she was everything to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially starting out. Now, it wasn't always sweet because me and her bumped heads a lot when it came to, the care and things like that of my daughter, because she did take over. And I'm telling her, hey, I didn't leave her on the doorstep for you to raise. I just needed you to help me so I could get back on my feet. So we bumped heads in that aspect, but overall, like, my granny has been the biggest help that I've ever received being a mom.
Okay. Okay. So I have another question.
Mm-hmm.
This one isn't really directed towards your support system. It's more like directed towards your mindset. Uh
Mm-hmm.
was there ever a time where like you considered like alternate options for parenting? You know what I mean? Like
Like giving my baby up.
like yeah, like and I'm only asking in ways of clarity,
Mm-hmm.
not in ways of like I just can't do this. I'm saying like I know there are times where being a parent gets tough,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like I'm gonna leave my kid with my mom for a little bit type shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not on no permanent stuff, but right now I can't. So if I keep continuing on with my kids strapped to me, I'm only gonna do them more damage than good.
Honestly, in all honesty, my daughter is now 12. I did not start having those thoughts until last year. And that's
Really?
because me and her, yes, we have bumped heads to the T, because she's in this growing up phase where she's trying to discover who she is, and she's also influenced by so many external influences that are not necessarily a positive impact on her life. So a lot of the BS that I'm dealing with in this moment is just like, yeah, I need a break. Like, I need a break, because if not, I'm gonna break you, and that's not necessarily something that I want to do.
That's definitely respected. And
Hmm.
and I'm glad you shedded light on that because it really does not it's not really talked about on a grand scale of how later in parenting you do feel as though, bro, I might need somebody to step in.
Hmm.
Because you and I find myself saying it. I'm not a mom, but I am a parent, and
Hmm.
we're close friends. So
Hmm.
the story behind me and my son.
Hmm.
So that feeling of it's like I've raised a kid for 10 years. I don't know how to raise a teenager. You
Right.
know, and it's like but there are people out here that do. So you want to
Hmm.
seek that help from them. So that whenever we were talking about alternate means of parenting, that's that, and I'm glad you shed it the light the way you did on that. Like, because you wasn't just like, oh well, no, I'm not, I don't know, I don't know, I'm the only parent they need, and it's like, okay, cool, but
Hmm.
everybody needs help. So,
Exactly.
has there ever been a time where your child was not your motivating factor in a decision about your life? And what I mean by that is, you know, you like, mama got to get this money, or you put them aside and made a decision that was not based off your child.
Um, I feel like I have exactly recalling any instances. Like I really can't, because even though like the example you just gave, I do that a lot. Listen, I know you might want to go to this party, but I need this money because we got bills. Well, not you, but I got bills. And if you want the luxuries that you have, I gotta go get some money. So um it I still feel like, that's still like she's still a motivational factor, because I do know that I am the only parent that she has, because her dad is not an active member. So even though I'm putting her wants to the side, I'm still considering the fact that I still got to make money so that you can be taken care of.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Definitely makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And I think sometimes we have to, we as parents, but mothers more so than not, they forget that they are people too. You get
Mhm.
so wrapped up, and I've seen it time and time again. With mothers, they get so wrapped up in the thought of what's important for the child, that it's like, what's important for you.
Mhm.
You like, mama got to go get this money, but mama also need a rest. You
Mhm.
know, mama got to go get this money, but mama also need to take time to herself. Like, so let's dive on that. What
Mhm.
when is the time that you run yourself rugged, like run yourself really really rugged in the name of your child stability?
Up until she was, what, about 10, like everything revolved around her. And when she turned 10, I was like, I something in me just clicked, and I realized like I have literally like given, and I have absolutely nothing for myself. Absolutely. I look in my closet and I want to get dressed up and go somewhere, and I have nothing fancy to wear. I might have a little bit of money, but I wasn't doing nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? Not concerning me. I wouldn't get my nails done. I still don't get my nails done. But I wouldn't get my feet done. I didn't get my hair done. I wouldn't buy no lashes. I would not do anything for me. Everything, even if I went to the store, I would pick up like a shirt, walk around the store with the shirt, end up putting it back because I'm like, what if my daughter needs something? You know what I'm saying? Like, she don't have no needs, but what if she did need something? And then, I felt selfish. So up until she was 10, then I was like, not you got to fend for yourself, because I still do whatever, to make sure that my daughter is mentally happy, emotionally
But
healthy, and,
you're not a baby. You're not a
physically.
baby.
Exactly. But at the same time, like, I'm not going to go looking raggedy and you be dressed up in Gucci and gold. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to look nice too. When we go out, I want both of us to look good.
I
So
do.
that was it.
I do respect that, and I'm glad you said that as well. Once again, I know I keep saying I'm glad you said that, but it's you're the first episode of this saga, so you get to spread the field a lot more, and
Hmm.
than the other ladies who will be partaking in this as well. But with you saying you buy things, or you bought you would think about buying a shirt but you didn't, you might see something. Do you feel that you as a person has been overshadowed by the position of being a mom? And if so, where do you think that you can recover yourself? Or when did you try to recover yourself? Or are you on the verge of recovering yourself?
So I'm so glad you asked that question. Um, Up until 2019, like around August of 2019, that's when I reclaimed myself. Um, And prior to that, I was always known as Janice's mom. Everybody knew my child. Nobody knew my name. They couldn't tell me my name. I was Janice's mom for like the longest. And, I'm not saying that like it was like a heartbreaking thing or anything like that, but I was like, Dad, like, who am I outside of being a mom? I know I've had like conversations with other females and things like that. And like discovering who you are, like who is Asia? What does Asia like to do? Those are questions that I couldn't even answer. So like getting back to Asia and what Asia likes to do, and it having a life aside from being a mom, that was like really really major to me. So I started like going out at nights, like, hey Granny, can you keep Janice for me? I'm gonna go out for a little bit. Even if I just went out by myself, I didn't have no problem with that at all. I just wanted to start doing stuff for me again, so that I could discover what it is that I like. And in doing that, um, I discovered a lot about myself, that, a lot of the ugly stuff about myself that, I didn't think that was an issue, but it was. A lot of the attitude and stuff that I had was coming because I just gave up on me. And I didn't like that. So, I just really had to like really hone in on me. And then it started like leaning more so into like me actually dating again. I didn't date anybody for like 8 years, and I was celibate for 5. So, all of that went into just, I'm just a mom, focus on being a mom. That was it. And then, like I said, 2019, that was my breaking out, honey. Asia is back.
Okay, bet. So before you recentered yourself and refocused and redirected the energies that has been used to reclaim Asia,
Hmm.
can you tell me about a overwhelming time where, like, can you tell me about an overwhelming time where you felt intimidated about an action regarding your child? As in, you know, maybe your child had to see a specialist and you're just like, I'm against this. Maybe your child needed medication that you're like, I'm against this. Maybe your child needed extracurricular things going on and you're like, I'm against this. Like, has there
Hmm.
ever been a time where you felt overshadowed by the decision, about a decision regarding your child?
Um.
And if so, let me ask you this. Let me just say
Mhm.
in this part. If so, walk me through your process of how you came to your conclusion, whether you did it or you didn't. Walk me through your conclusion about how you arrived to your decision.
Okay, so when she was younger, I can say no. I honestly thought my baby was AIG level, honey. Before she went to kindergarten, you could not convince me my baby was not the smartest baby on the planet. Around fifth grade, fourth, fifth grade, honey, that pandemic hit when she was in the third, and then afterwards it just went downhill. And I had to come to the reality that my daughter does not care about school. It's not that she can't do the work. And she may struggle in certain areas, like reading is not her strong suit. She can read, she's just a slow reader. And it affects her when she's taking tests and things like that. So, settling on that. And two, because I work with kids, I'm never one that, I can't accept the fact that something is wrong with my child. Now I'm against medicine to a degree. I really am, but getting that extra help, even if it's just tutoring sessions or whatever, like I am pro tutoring, honey, because I know the way I'm set up, I'm not the best in math. So if you don't want to F, don't come to me and ask me to help you with your homework. Let me find somebody that could actually help you. And just accepting the fact that she does not care about school, that was a hard pill to swallow. Because me, I don't want to say I was a nerd, but I definitely love school. And I was just like, well, you better find something to care about because now she's going to the seventh grade. I mean, you still got time for you graduate. We got to graduate. You got to get up out of there. So that's where we at right now. Like I said before, when she was younger, everything was great. I couldn't say anything bad. It's just the now. The now is what's giving me issues.
Okay, I can definitely I can definitely respect that one because it's not really talked about how you still view them as babies, but at the same time you don't view them as a baby anymore, and they're
Mm-hmm.
so used to you treating them like a baby that now it's like I got to treat you differently, and they're like, well, what's different? It's like you're different.
Right.
I'm not different. I'm still your kid, and it's like, yeah, you're still my kid, but you're growing up, you
Right.
know. And they're like, well, growing up is hard. It's like, yeah, you're damn right, it's hard. So, I definitely understand that. You mentioned something, by the way. You mentioned something about dating.
Mm-hmm.
How has dating been for you? And has you got pregnant at 21, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how has dating been for you? Because you had time to date and play around a little bit. Like, does your position as a mom, how does that play into you dating? Like how do you put mom Asia away and date and bring out dating Asia? And if so, and if you're taking somebody serious, how do you make those two become one, like
Mm.
coexist?
Um. Well, again, can we go back a little bit?
Yeah, talk to me.
So when my daughter was, 2 months, between 2 and 3 months, and we moved down here, I didn't know anybody. So of course I wasn't dating. Then too, I come to find out like I'm related to just about everybody here in Moore County and the neighboring county. So I really wasn't trying to date nobody. But there were a couple people that, we did talk and things like that, but it was iffy with me, because I didn't want to feel like I was abandoning my daughter to like be dating anyone. So like again, I told you I went 8 years without dating, 5 years celibate. Moving forward to like the 2019, 2020 area, um, I went I was dating this guy that lived in Charlotte, and now my daughter is of age, so she knows, who all I've dated and things like that. And one, I don't bring everybody around her, but she knows what's going on in my life as well. Um, she met him and they clicked mostly because I felt like he was buying her. So she just liked to be spoiled. That's just my kid, She just likes to be spoiled. She likes to be given things instead of earning them most of the times. So he just give her like candy and stuff like that. Like go to the store, he'd buy something or whatever. And that's what she liked. It's not per se that she liked him. She just liked what she could get.
Hmm.
Then I dated another guy after that. He had two kids which were her age. Um, and so the kids kind of hung out, and he was my longest relationship thus far in my adult life. And we lasted for about 2 years. And, she didn't really care for him, but she liked his kids and she wanted me to be happy. So that's where she was at with that whole thing. And then the guy that I'm with now, um, I don't know how their relationship really is because it's like she'll talk to him, don't get me wrong, and I'll ask her things and she's comfortable around him, but she don't where she's at mentally, she just cares if I'm happy or not. She she don't really care to have a guy around because it's always been just me and her. So when it's just me and her, we can do things that she can that we can't do when there's a guy present. Um
So it's more
and
like a. So it's more like a. It's not. It's not a. It's not an hour with her. from what I'm understanding. It's
Mhm.
not this is a us thing. It's more of a that's your thing. I'm just here,
Yeah.
and you just have fun doing your thing, but understand that it's just your thing.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And it kind of puts a damper on things for me because I just have this fairy tale idea that, we're just going to be one big happy family, and you're going to love him and he's going to love you like he's your dad, and oh, everything is just going to work out and be so wonderful. And that's not where she at.
Okay, okay, bet. Bet. And you know what? I'm glad that you are clarifying the fact
Mhm.
that you're acknowledging that her happiness matters, but it's not the only thing that matters.
Mhm.
So, which brings me to my next question. How do you balance your happiness with your child's happiness?
Um Now we have more stuff in common because she is aging. So like I still do my own thing. Sometimes I just like to leave and go to Starbucks, and that's my happy place. You know what I'm saying? Like just having that moment away from everybody, cuz that's what I need sometimes. And I know things that make her happy. Like, she likes to go and get Starbucks with me. So sometimes it's not about me bringing you with me cuz I need that moment of peace, but just bringing you a little, "Hey, I was thinking about you." Something like that. So just making sure that she feels acknowledged and loved.
Okay.
That's the biggest thing that I do to just make sure that she's happy, and then like having talks with her too. I pull her to the side a lot, and just have those talks because being a kid in these days is way different than when I was 12, because I didn't have all the pressures that they have now. There is so many pressures like coming from everywhere, and because of certain things that she's now gone through, I'm just like, look, I got to make sure I check on my kid, because if you're not in a good place, that's problematic. Because the last thing that I want to hear about, especially in my own little bubble, my own little circle, is suicide.
That is very true. That is very true. Very true. So, uh, we're gonna cut to a quick commercial, and
Okay.
then when we get back, the question that the question that we are going to get the answer to is how do you establish how you establish effective communication with your child? Okay,
That's a good. All right.
let's get it. So we're back, of course. Commercials are small. Like I like to keep them small.
Yeah.
Just to the point. But
Mm.
the question for anybody who's just looking, just coming back in, the question was, how do you establish effective communication? How did you establish effective communication with your child? Because every child is different.
That is true. I started when she was really, really, really young. Really since she was like the age of 2. I used to just pull her to the side and we would have girl talk. And that was my way of offering a judgment free zone where you could express whatever you felt like you wanted to express. I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to trip out. I'm not going to, judge you. I'm not going to say anything that, is going to damage how you feel about whatever it is that you're feeling this way about. Um, and I've done my best to keep that line of communication open as she's gotten older. I can honestly say, even though that's still a thing, like me and her still talk, but the way that it's changed is she's not as open with me as she used to be. Mainly because she sees me as mom now and not, a listening ear, not somebody who can really be, on her level with different things because of the age difference and things like that. She will talk to her friends and things like that. And I try to combat that as best I can because I don't want her getting any misinformation by talking to other people who have not been through anything, or um I hate to say that because some of these kids been through more than I ever have. But on different topics, let me say that on different topics, some of these kids can actually give some good advice, and some of them just gonna give you what they heard through the grapevine and they don't absolutely nothing about. So yeah, I just try to make sure that she, one, feels heard and her feelings are validated, because that's important to me. Your feelings are valid no matter what they are. And I also let her know when she was very, very young, you're not gonna like everything I say, because I'm speaking from a place of concern. I'm speaking from a place of, well, I've been there. I'm speaking from a place of, I don't want you to do this. So you're not going to agree with every single thing that I say, but I always will listen to you if you ever tell me that you need to talk to me. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to listen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope. That's dope that you started at a young age. And what I'm starting to realize is, because I've talked to dads, but and this is then I've talked to men who were dads and
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature. So finding out that we all realize that communication is important. We all realize communication has to be established, but it's the ways that we establish it. And one thing that I am going to ask you about is, do you feel like fear? Do you feel like fear is needed to rein a child in? Like when I say fear, I'm talking about like if your kid's out here wilding, like bugging out, your kid, you like, how, can fear be used as a tool for positive reinforcement with a kid?
So I'm on the fence with this one because I am a old school with a little bit of new school type of parent. I do believe in, the child fearing the parent. And when I say that, I mean, like, if I tell you do not go to this party, I mean do not go to this party, because I have a feeling that if you go, something bad is going to happen to you. I don't feel like I need to explain all of that in order for me to say no, don't go to this party. And if you don't fear or respect the things that I'm telling you to do, um you go to that party, something happened to you, like, and then too, I look at it too as, say for instance, the kid witnesses something traumatic, you know what I'm saying? And so that fear could be a positive thing for them, because now, because I mean, it, whether it happened to them or somebody that they know, the fact that they witnessed it, that could keep them away from certain avenues. Like if you seen, God forbid, one of her friends got shot and she's seen it, you know, that would keep her away from trying to be out every night or things like that. So I'm like on the fence. I'm on the fence.
Okay, okay. So you brought up a trauma, a trauma situation.
Hmm.
What what safeguards have you set in place for traumatic situations regarding your child? And what I mean by safeguards is, have you it's just like fire drills. You know,
Hmm.
if my child come to me and tell me somebody touched her, what is my process that I'm going to handle? If my child tell me they've been robbed, they've been shot, like, what are your core principles for dealing with traumatic situations regarding your child?
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yes.
It honestly, depending on the situation, that's how I'm coming. And that's not like the best response, and I understand that, but If my child come to me and say that somebody did something, I honestly I cannot specifically state how I'm going to respond. I just know I'm going to respond and it's not going to be a great outcome for them. Um Now that is a solid question because now it gives me something to process and think about because that's something that, I don't really put a lot of time into. Like my main go to is Lord cover her as she goes throughout her day. That's
and
all I
and that's the reason why I'm asking. That is the whole reason why I'm asking, because
hmm
we always tell the kids the boogeyman is not real, but that does not mean that there aren't monsters out here. You know what I
hmm
mean? And we we tend to dismiss, especially as parents, we tend to dismiss the fact that something can happen to them. We think that something can happen to them, away from us. Traumatic things can happen to them with us. You can go out here for milkshakes and get into a car wreck. Now your kid is processing the car wreck. My mom almost died. My dad,
Right.
etc. So traumatic situations, I feel like we don't really talk about that with kids. And that's the reason why a lot of them, when a traumatic situation happens, they end up changing so much because it's new to them. Rather than
hmm
if we talk to them about about traumatic situations and they happen, they're like, okay, mama told me there'll be days like this. You get what I'm
hmm
saying? It's a hurry up and wait thing. Like, what are we waiting for? We're waiting for this to happen. We're not expecting it to happen, but if it does happen, we're prepared for it. You know?
Right.
So having those traumatic talks are, I mean, they're very helpful with kids. And a lot of us do not have a manual as to what we would uh, deem appropriate when
hmm
dealing with a traumatic situation.
Right.
My
The I've ever really talked to my daughter about, especially recently, is like being aware of her surroundings. And just watching people, you really gotta be a people watcher because they snatching kids up, big, small, medium, it don't matter. They taking people, and then too, again, with the people touching places and things like that, like there are so many monsters and predators that are literally just around here waiting on the opportunity.
and
So
and and the worst part about it is they're not even. Some of them are not even adults. There are
right,
kids. There are kids that touch kids.
exactly.
There are
So
kids that touch kids.
thing. I definitely make sure that, I let her know about that. But as far as like, any other type of situation, I honestly I have not given it any consideration.
Whew.
I will.
I'm just. I mean, I'm we're talking about the voices of motherhood here,
hmm
and just to catch people up, we talked about dating, we talked about traumatic experiences, we talked about communication, we've also talked about stability. Another thing that we need to talk about is relevance.
Mm.
Letting our kids know what is okay for right now, and understand that it might not be relevant later.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
So when trying to figure that.
Come on. I'm sorry. Janice, give me 1 second. I'm about to go pick up Joby. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
We can edit that out in the finals cut, can't we?
Ma, this part of motherhood. Stop it. Stop what you're doing. Being on this ain't no different from being on the phone, and you sitting there laughing, and then next thing you yelling at the kid, put that down, and then you go
Right.
right back to talk. Yeah,
I'm about to go
yeah.
get Joby. All right. Lord have mercy. But yes.
Oh, my kid's got a bird
Okay.
named Guacamole.
All right. A bird named Guacamole.
Bird named Guacamole.
Yeah, my other daughter.
Oh,
I from the Boys and Girls Club.
Lord have mercy.
I got kids everywhere.
But yeah,
But
like
yeah, relevance.
relevant. What's okay for right now, and what might not be okay later on, or what might not be relevant later on. That's something that we definitely as parents, but I feel like mothers mothers
Mm-hmm.
especially can drive that point home. You know, it's okay for you to be chilling with your friends, or it's okay for you to have a friend, but understand what it's not okay. What's not okay is if your friend is taking you around grown men. What's not okay, or like understand you can talk to grown men when you're grown. That's what I mean by
Mm-hmm.
like relevant. Like what's relevant to you should be school, things of that nature.
Right.
It shouldn't be, this, that, and the third. So when talking about that, what exactly like what's your plan of attack for letting them know, letting your daughter know about relevance? So relevance in your kid life, how do you establish what's relevant for your kid's life right now?
What I find myself doing is taking time to actually participate in the things that she likes, the things that attract her, and that way I know what I need to tell her about and what I need to tell her is not okay. Um, so she's a big fan of a lot of the YouTube stupidity, like all of this foolishness. But she also likes a lot of the gamers. To me, that's okay. Like it is relevant now because a lot of people are streaming. I mean, look at all the AI services. But I'm telling her, if this is something that you are trying to do or you like or whatever, get into it, make money off of it, do something. um Outside of that, like, she don't really be with her friends and stuff a lot. She talks to them on the phone, and we do have, you know, we've had issues with that as well because she wants to act more mature than the age that she actually is and has no idea what maturity actually means. So we bump heads when it comes to that. So I'm constantly reminding her, like, you're only 12. You're only 12. You're only 12. You have a lifetime to be an adult. You have a lifetime to do adult like things, do age appropriate things. Like, it's really hard to keep her interested in things that's strictly for her age range.
Okay. You know what? We can sit here and say that, we got formulated blueprints, but the truth of the matter is that just because you got a blueprint don't mean it ain't gonna be hard. Just because you got a manual does not mean it's not gonna be hard. So now I gotta ask you, just to wrap up everything. My last two questions are simple. What's the best thing that you enjoy about being a mom? And the second thing is, what advice would you leave for a new mother?
Oh, the best part about being a mom is honestly the journey, because you get to go from this, carrying the child and building that relationship while you're pregnant, to having the baby and seeing, the itty bitty little bundle that just came into the world. And then you get to watch them grow, you know what I'm saying? And then you get to watch them take on their own personality. And it's just super amazing to be a witness to just how special this person is. And it ain't all sunshine and rainbows every day, and that's just part of life, you know that is just a regular part of life. But joy is actually seeing your kids smile, and, like, even when that you may not have nothing but $20 to give them the best birthday they ever had in their life, they come up to you and hug you and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is absolutely amazing." That right there is a it's a icing on the cake. You know what I'm saying? Like, that you're doing the very best, and that kid don't see no wrong in you. That's such a reward. That is such a reward. Um, and the advice that I would give to any parent is take time to get to learn your child. Don't ever say what your child won't do, cause that part right there, honey, they will surprise you when you get to talking about what they won't do. But take time and like literally observe your kid. Um, See what triggers them. Like learn your child. That's your little human that you have to take care of. So learn them. Um, and enjoy it.
Definitely, definitely can't argue with that. And as far as my closing remarks go, as far as a child, I mean, as far as first of all, I want to thank you for being up here. I'm gonna give you your roses as a mom
Thank
because we've known each other for going on for over 10 years, going on over
you.
10 years,
Minute.
and yeah, it don't even seem like it's been that long, but I've seen the growth in you as a mom. Because
Mm.
when I first met you, it was me and my baby. That's it. No, me and my baby. But now that I'm hearing that you are starting to branch out and starting to live instead of living for your child, you're just learning to simply live is a
Mm.
beautiful thing. And the fact that you are doing it in a manner in which you are showing your daughter it is okay to have your priorities in order. But remember, in order for you to have your priorities in order, relaxation is needed so that your mind can be calm. So
Right.
I definitely appreciate the fact that you came up here and told us about how you communicate with her and it started young because no seed can grow without water and or sunlight. So
Right.
that listening and communication, that's that water and sunlight. So this is just me giving you your roses as a parent. I thank you for coming up here. I thank you for saying what you said and actually being real about it. It's not perfect. No parent is perfect, and there's no such thing as a perfect parent. And
No,
if you do find a perfect
not
parent,
at all.
if you do find a perfect parent, you can damn sure believe that child probably has something different to say about that perfect parent. So, with that being said, you want to I'm Tater Bear. Thank you for being on. Thank you for being on the showcase. Tell me who you be one last
Mm-hmm.
time.
I'm Asia K. Nice talking to y'all.
It's always good to talk to him. We'll catch y'all later, man.